Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to some more videos. This time I'm gonna be doing a news-related video. And boy, this is a pretty I guess you would say interesting news-related video. Now, before we get any further, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate that. I do a whole lot of things. I do news-related stuff. I do reviews. I do gaming videos. I even have some sound videos. I always forget to mention those. I have some sound videos for people who want to go to sleep. So people want to listen to some nature sounds. I got that on my I've got that on my channel too. So I got a whole lot of stuff. I hope you guys all enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I sure did. I had a blast at Thanksgiving. We played some games and we ate some food, which is pretty good. We also went to V-Stock, which I have a video about that later, but we did a whole lot of stuff. It's hard to mention everything. I'll probably mention it in my V-Stock video. And remember, guys, if you guys are not interested in my news-related stuff, I have other videos, too. Like I mentioned, the reviews and stuff. So, just letting you guys know. I also didn't have to go to the hospital, so I'm happy there. I was worried I'd have to go to the hospital because I was really in bad shape last week. I really was at the beginning. But I didn't have to go to the hospital, so that's good. I just didn't upload anything because we were going to Thanksgiving and stuff, so, yeah. But anywho, let's go ahead and talk about Disney and Apple, because that's the topic today. Now, I actually wanted to make this video yesterday. I was going to do it on the road. I was walking on the road. I was going to go by the big stump on the road. There's a big stump. It's like rotten now, but it's still there. I was going to sit there and, that's where I like to sit at and do my reviews. But I forgot to do it, and my legs were killing me, so I did not bother, doing it. I wanted to do it when I came back, but I've been really tired lately, so I was unable to do it yesterday. But today, I woke up and I decided, let's go ahead and talk about this. So, yeah. But this actually was talked about, last week, before Thanksgiving even happened. I think it was on Tuesday. I think people were talking about this. But apparently, there's a rumor going around that Apple may end up, in fact, buying Disney. Well, actually, it's more Bob Iger wants to maybe sell to Disney. Well, we'll sell Disney to Apple, I should say. Sorry, I meant to say that. But I want to talk about this because this is actually pretty big news. Now, is this going to be good news or bad news? I would probably say it's probably would not really change Disney too much. See, here's the thing. Apple and Disney have been close for a long, long time. They have been really close. Apparently, they've been close all the way back since Disney bought Pixar. Maybe even before that. But Disney and Apple, the person behind Apple ended up going to create, I think, his own company, which is Apple. And here's the thing. Disney is doing really bad. They are doing really bad, and to solve their problem, they decided to hire Bob Iger back. I'm not really a big fan of Bob Iger. I do not like Bob Iger or Bob Chapek, but Bob Iger's worse than Bob Chapek. He's worse because where Bob Chapek was upping the prices and stuff. It was getting really out of hand. I know some people that was actually all over the place. Actually, that not just some people, but that was all over the place when he got fired and Bob Iger returned. A lot of people were all over the place. Some people think Bob Chapek and Bob Iger were both bad CEOs. Some people think Bob Chapek was actually a better CEO. And then some people think Bob Iger was a better CEO. So it's all over the place. And I gotta say right now that I think Bob Chapek was kind of a bad CEO too, because he was upping prices. He was telling people that Disney animation was not really, a like for adults. It was just for kids and all that. But he wasn't buying up properties crazy like Bob Iger. Bob Iger was just buying up everything. He was buying up everything. He put Disney in debt when he bought Fox. So clearly Bob Iger was worse. He was definitely worse. Now, I think some people will say that Bob Chapek may not have been as bad, and he may have been trying to fix the situations. Because when he it took a while for him to actually get into Disney, because he wasn't the CEO until the beginning of the year, and there was a lot of commotion happening with the Disney company because of Bob Iger. Bob Iger caused a lot of this stuff to happen. He did. He caused a lot of problems where he made the company woke and all that. But Bob Chapek was trying to stay away from woke. He was trying to stay away. Now some people think that he went right back to woke. Now I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But if I said in my past videos that I think Bob Chapek was stupid to go back to making Disney woke and get into the Florida business, and I don't think that's actually all that true, because there's other people that work for Disney too. I don't know if he was actually, because I don't see why he would go out of his way to make Disney go away from woke and the Florida business, only to go right back to Disney getting into the Florida business with Florida. I don't really see how that see why he would just suddenly change his mind like that. Now Bob Chapek is not really, he doesn't have the mind for Disney and all that, but I don't think he was a great CEO either. I think he didn't know what he was doing. He tried to stay away from woke, but Disney went right back to woke and all that, and he was upping the prices like crazy too. But Bob Iger was doing the same thing too. But Chapek did it worse. But clearly there was some commotion going on with both CEOs, and now that Bob Iger's coming back, things are just getting worse. Apparently Disney is really bad. A lot of their movies are bombing in the box office. They're losing customers. Their subscribers for Disney Plus they don't have as many as people thought they did, because they were trying to hide their numbers. So they really don't have as many subs as people are going out to say. Because I don't see how they could have 100 million subs, because the other studios like Netflix, and actually Netflix has got more subs, but I doubt they have as many subs as they say they do too. But Paramount, HBO Max, and Peacock, all of them have less subs than Disney. And I don't see how that can be, because Disney has pissed off a lot of people. Warner Brothers kind of has too, but Disney's pissed off way more people than Warner Brothers. They pissed off way more people than Warner Brothers. So I don't see how they can have 100,000 subs while like HBO Max and Paramount and all that have like 40 to 60, million subs or something. I don't see how that can be possible. But it's clearly showing that they don't actually have as many subs as people were thinking. So Disney's been hiding numbers. They've been hiding numbers, and even with Bob Iger in charge, they were still doing that. So clearly, Bob Chapek and Bob Iger were both doing that. They were both hiding numbers and all of that sort of stuff. But their movies have been doing really bad in the box office. They have been doing really bad. Even Strange World. Apparently, it's so bad. It's even worse than the movie Treasure Planet. That was actually a movie that didn't do well in the box office either. But the difference between that and Strange World, people actually like Treasure Planet, which I have never seen before. I need to see that movie, but I've never seen it before. While Disney Disney's Strange World is actually people hate it. People don't like it. People think it's just an average Disney film. So clearly Disney's movies are actually doing much worse than they did in the early 2000s. They're doing a lot worse. See, they were doing pretty bad in the early 2000s, but now I feel like they're doing even worse. And I'm wondering if this may lead to Disney, leading to just not taking risk of taking their movies to theaters anymore. Maybe they'll just focus on streaming. That'll probably be bad for that will be bad, not probably. That will be bad for the theaters, because the theaters won't get money off the movies. But I could see Disney doing this, because Disney's the same company that just gave up on animation years ago that made their movies so good in the first place. See, back in, I think it was 2009 or 2010, Disney shut down their animation studios. One still remained, and that made the Winnie the Pooh movie, which is actually technically the last full 2D animation movie. Obviously, there's probably some CGI backgrounds and stuff, but all the characters were CGI, well, not CGI, but 2D animation. But they shut down all the animation studios because they gave up on. They were losing money, but they still had a crap ton of money back then. But they made a stupid decision by shutting down the 2D animation studios that actually made them Disney, because Disney was known for their animation back in the day. And when they shut it down, that kind of screwed things over a bit. So then I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing with the theaters too. Instead of taking risk, and I know Disney's hurt really bad now than they were back then. They're actually hurt, I think, worse than they were back in the early 2000s. But the fact that Disney could go and just stop, releasing their movies in the theaters because they're not doing really well, just like they did with the 2D animation studios by shutting them down, I can totally see Disney just not taking risk on that anymore. Disney does not take risk anymore. They stop taking risk. All they care about is growing their company and focus on woke. They don't really care about, making good movies anymore, and they don't really care about, the fans. All they care about is making money and making it woke. That's what leads to Apple. See, Bob Iger is talking, well, they're talking about maybe this is a rumor, by the way. This is a rumor. It doesn't mean this is true yet. But I can see this happening. Bob Iger may end up, in fact, be selling Disney to Apple. See, Disney can't buy Apple. Apple is worth way too much money. They're worth way more than Disney itself. So Disney won't be able to buy Apple. However, Apple could buy Disney because Apple has got trillions and trillions of dollars. They could totally buy Disney. They could buy Disney easily. But the thing is, though, why I could see this happening is because Disney is doing really bad now. They're not doing good anymore, and Bob Iger could be looking like, I think it's time I get a lot of cash from Apple from buying Disney, because Bob Iger is a money guy. He's like Bob Chapek. He just wants to get money off of things. And if Disney is not doing very well, he could end up just selling Disney to Apple and get a bunch of cash off of it. Which is kind of, I think Bob Iger is a selfish dick. He really is a selfish dick, but I could totally see him doing that, because, if Disney's struggling, then he could probably sell Disney to Apple and get a crap ton of money for it. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I don't think Apple was really the best option for Disney either. Because if Apple and Disney are close to each other, and Disney wants to sell to Apple, I doubt Apple's gonna change much of Disney. I doubt they're gonna change much. They could. I mean, look at George Lucas. George Lucas was a complete his Star Wars and company was a completely different company before Disney bought them, and they were both close to it. Disney and George Lucas were both close to each other too before George Lucas sold his company off to Disney. So, and they completely changed it. So who knows? But I doubt a lot of things are going to change. However, here's the thing. If Apple ends up buying Disney, there may be some limitations of what they can do. Because Disney's a huge company and Apple's a huge company. So it may be considered a monopoly. They may have to sell off some of their properties that Disney bought to actually buy the company. So they could end up selling off Pixar or Marvel or something like that. There's also the Hulu and Disney Plus too, because Disney owns 3 streaming platforms and Apple has a streaming platform, and I think 4 is too many. So Apple may be either have to shut down Disney Plus, or they may have to sell Hulu or ESPN off. Well, I'd say they probably would sell Hulu because ESPN is a company Disney fully owns. So I could totally see Apple just being like, we don't really need Hulu, we'll just sell Hulu off. I mean, they could also shut down Disney Plus too, they could just shut Disney Plus down. But there's a lot of things that could happen, but I guarantee they won't be able to buy all of Disney because that will be too many properties, and that would be considered a monopoly, so they would have to sell some of their properties. Because that would be too many. So I could see that happening. So yeah, I can see Disney just being like you know what, we're done with this company. This company's gone to hell. Let's just sell it to Apple and let Apple deal with it. Because I can totally see that happening. I can see that totally happening, and I wouldn't be surprised if Apple ends up buying Disney. I mean, there's other companies that can buy it too, like Amazon can buy Disney and all that, but I would probably see Apple buying Disney because Apple's actually, I think, got more money than Amazon does. So I can totally see Apple buying Disney. Plus, Apple and Disney, like I said, were close to each other. They were close, just like George Lucas. But since Disney can't afford Apple, even if they didn't buy Fox, which is still a stupid decision, they wouldn't have been able to afford Apple anyway, because Apple is bigger than Disney, and Apple's worth more. So I don't think they would be able to buy that, but because Apple's got a lot more money and stuff, and they're worth a lot more. So basically this is kind of an interesting story. We'll have to see where it goes. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney doesn't get sold to Apple, because Disney is in deep trouble, and they're in deep trouble. Like I mentioned, their movies are doing really bad. A lot of people hate them now. They're out of the 6 studios, which is 5. Well, I guess it's technically 6 because there's a Netflix. Well, I guess there's 8. There's Amazon too. But out of all the studios that produce movies, we'll just say that Disney is probably the most hated one out of them all, because Disney is gotten so politically correct and all, well, not correct, but they got so political and it focused so much on woke and destroying franchises, they have pissed off a lot of people. And I could totally see people are just leaving Disney in general. People are leaving Disney. They're leaving them and going to other studios to watch stuff because Disney has gotten so bad. And not much is changing so far but with Bob Iger in charge. I hear Bob Iger's actually firing people like Bob Chapek, so I don't think there's going to be as many layoffs, but some people even say Bob Iger was working behind the scenes at Disney, he never actually retired. He was working behind the scenes. And I could see, I could see, I can see, that things are still not changing too much. Things are still getting pretty bad at Disney, and it's not really changing that much. It's still pretty bad, and Bob Iger was the one who started the whole thing in the first place. Not enough some people had problems with Michael Eisner a little bit, but Michael Eisner was not as bad as Bob Iger. Bob Iger was worse. He's way worse. But I don't know what to say here about this stuff though. This is just pretty bad. Though that Disney's gotten the once family friendly company. Well, family not even family friendly. It was a family company that was created by the great Walt Disney himself. Has completely gone down to the gutter, and it's just getting worse from here. Like, I even mentioned, too, that Bob Iger wants to... They were talking about him wanting to run for president, so he was wanting to work, they probably hired him until 2024, so he could become the president of the United States. So I can totally see that. Just see him being like, well, I'll just collect all of Disney's money, I'll collect all the money that we get from selling Disney to Apple, and then he could just leave and just be like, I'm just gonna wait till 2024 to become the president of the United States. So yeah, but it's not looking pretty good. It's looking pretty bad. But I'm probably gonna let things go here because I don't have anything else to say. We're just gonna have to see where this goes, guys. We're gonna have to see where this goes. It's definitely looking like Disney could get sold. So I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and let things go like I mentioned, and I'll see you guys all later. I'll have a V-Stock video later, so see you guys then. And I hope you guys enjoy your day. See you guys all later today. Bye.